Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel, and I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be, and of course, however you may be listening. I wasn't expecting to do any more content today after I posted my reaction video to Iowa's overtime victory over Nebraska. But we had some more basketball news. And I had seen the rumblings before this. I had seen that Fran McCaffrey was making an important stop for a 2025 prospect, a 4-star that decommitted. I forget where he decommitted from. He decommitted from USF. His name is Joshua Lewis. He is a small forward target. The news that I'm about to announce to you might change that. We'll have to see. He's from the Florida area. Iowa does have a lot of competition for him. It's tough because they do seem to have a decent relationship with him. Basketball recruiting is really tough. It's hard to nail down kind of how prospects feel. Basketball recruiting is not as, by and large, intellish as football recruiting is. And usually these recruitments go for a lot longer period of time in basketball because for a couple of reasons. But number one, they just do that. It's just kind of the nature of it. Basketball players, there's more development, and they're much more willing to wait and see if they get a better offer than football. Because basketball, you're either a 6'8" guy or you're not, and there's not a ton of 6'8" Division I prospects. So you can kind of wait. Also, players do have a lot of development from year to year. And on top of that, if you're kind of an early bloomer and you're 6'9" as a sophomore in high school, you're going to have a lot of offers. And those offers will continue to be committable unless you just totally take a nosedive and get into trouble or something like that because you're still 6'9". So that's kind of why the recruitment goes a little bit longer. But he's got a lot of offers. Illinois, Michigan, Cincinnati, a lot of Big Ten schools. I believe there was an official visit that was locked up. But nonetheless, that is one of the visits that I knew was coming down the line. I don't want to spend too much time on it because that's not what this video is about. I want to keep this video as quick as possible. And out of nowhere, I pull up one of the recruiting websites and I see that Iowa landed a commitment from a guy that they were after last year, whom they received an official visit from out of the Minnesota area, Isaiah Johnson Arigu. I was stunned. This is a really solid pickup. He hit the transfer portal when, well, let me backtrack. Iowa was one of the schools that received an official visit from this guy, 6'8" wing prospect, but he ended up committing to Miami and Jim Larrañaga. Jim Larrañaga, of course, has decided to step down after being at Miami and having a decent amount of success there, especially, for Miami. I mean, Miami is not a place that you can't win. It's just for whatever reason, Miami's not, one of the more known blue bloods in the sport of basketball. So he's had varied levels of success. He's had some really, really good teams, really, really strong teams. But I wouldn't say that he's kind of had the sustained year-to-year success as somebody like Fran McCaffrey has had. And he stepped down, citing NIL and kind of the modern state of recruiting. Just to show you guys what I'm talking about, He went 20-13 first year, 29-7, then 17-16, 25-13, 27-8, 21-12, 22-10. So really a ton of success in his first couple of years there. Then he went 14-18, 15-16, 10-17. He had a resurgence in 2021, going 26-11, making the Elite Eight. And then in 2022, 2023, they went 29-8, reaching the Final Four. And then last year, they were 15-17. So the peaks have definitely been higher than Fran McCaffery, but I wouldn't say that year to year the success has I guess if you look at it holistically, it's probably about the same. And again, definitely he's had more top end success. And so this kid hit the transfer portal. And I found out today that Iowa landed a commitment from him. Great news. By the way, guys, some of you guys who have been longtime listeners may have noticed that every time I start the video, either I go with my traditional boom, or I just say, what's up, Hawk fans? And kind of what I was thinking is when I record on the phone and do the Rode mic, kind of like a more casual setup, that I wouldn't do the boom. And I would reserve that for, my big mic stand and my other camera that's better, more of a traditional podcast setup. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm kind of going to go back and forth. I'm definitely going to stick with the boom for the more traditional setup. But anyways, going back to Isaiah, I was pleasantly surprised to see this. This is a great get for Iowa. He will not be able to play this year, although he did receive some minutes for Miami this year. Let me pull up his Arigu. He did receive some minutes for Miami. He has played kind of like Cooper Coach, aka Cooper Koch, aka Cooper Coke. Here or there. He's probably played a little bit less minutes as Cooper across the board. He's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. His highest total was 11 minutes. He kind of gets a few minutes here or there. It's actually more akin, I would say, to, let's see here, Chris Taggio. That's who. It's hell trying to remember all the names, guys. That's kind of who I would compare to. And to tell you the truth, these two guys have very similar games. They both have a very athletic profile. They both stand at 6'8", 6'7". I think Chris is slightly more physically developed, but Isaiah is solidly developed as well, especially for a true freshman. I mean, size is not his problem, especially on the wing. I mean, he's got decent muscle mass for a guy that's 6'7", 6'8". Oftentimes, those guys tend to be like a Peyton Sandfort when he first stepped onto Iowa's campus. There's some muscle to him. This is a great get. Like I said, he's not going to be available to play this year for Iowa because you can't transfer during the season and play. You can only do it before the following season starts. But this just goes to show what I've been saying, which is Fran McCaffery is really loading up on wings. 6'6" to 6'9". That is kind of where Fran McCaffery is going with the roster makeup of the last couple of years, and it's kind of gradually built up more and more. I mean, if everybody stays at Iowa next year, Iowa will have Lajai Dembele, they will have Price Sandfort, and keep in mind, these guys are not the same players, and they do play in a variety of different roles. Some guys play some two-guard and some forward. Some guys play mostly forward, like Lajai. You guys get what I'm saying. Lajai Dembele, Price Sandfort, Cooper Koch, Seydou Traore. Let's see. I wouldn't count Owen Freeman because he is a Iowa center. Chris Taggio. Yeah, that's 5 guys there. Let's see. Let me count it up. Seydou 1, Cooper 2, Lagi 3, Price 4, Chris 5, and then now Isaiah 6. That's not to mention the other guy that Iowa just received a commitment from out of the state of Indiana that I did a video on, the most recent commit, in Desmond Briscoe, who's more of like a slightly undersized power forward, more akin to like a Lagi Dembele. Again, physically developed, has good size in the trunks. All of 6'8". He'll definitely need to build some strength up here and kind of fill out up top, but he does have good size for his age. So that's what Fran McCaffrey is looking to do. And this Iowa team, if Iowa is able to keep everybody that is supposed to come back next year, this is going to be a really talented team next year with a ton of versatility. And that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to have a more versatile roster with the bulk of his roster being kind of positionless wings. Okay, that's kind of where basketball is going to, where you have this free flow, especially in Fran McCaffrey's offense. You have this free-flowing offense where primarily made up of wings that can kind of be interchangeable from 3 through 5, or depending on the lineup 2 through 4. And I think that this is an example of Fran McCaffrey looking to improve on the defensive side of the ball. This guy is a more defensively, I'm just pulling up his 247 Sports. I always forget how to spell Isaiah. Is it A before I or I before E? He's more developed on the defensive side of the ball. This is what Eric Bossi from National Basketball Director wrote. While currently listed as a small forward by 247 Sports, Johnson-Arruja is probably more of a combo forward right now. He's likely most comfortable as a small ball 4 right now because of his preference for driving the ball, his nose for the ball on the offensive glass, and him being much more comfortable as a jump shooter from 17 feet and in. To make a full-time move out to the wing, he is going to need to improve his range and his ball handling. During the last summer, he made just 6 of his 34 attempts from beyond the three-point line, according to Synergy. Defensively is where Johnson-Arruja really has a chance to shine early on during his college years. He is instinctual when it comes to getting into passing lanes and causing deflections. His lateral quickness allows him to stay in front of opponents, and most importantly, he is a versatile defender who is capable of switching 1 through 4. His ratings coming out of high school on 3 had him rated as a 4-star, 92, ranked as the 94th best player in the country and second best player in the state of Minnesota. 247 Sports had him as a high 3-star, 88, top 150 player in the country. ESPN had him as a 4-star, and Rivals had him as a 3-star, top 130 in the country. And he was a part of a really, really strong class for Miami. His stats, he averaged 1 point a game for Miami. I want to see if I can find his shooting totals, just kind of see where he's at with that. So his stats, he averaged 5.4 minutes, 40% field goal. He shot three. He had a 0% 3-point percentage. Rebounds 0.8. I mean, it's really hard to get any stats when you're playing under 6 minutes a game on average. But yeah, he shot he has shot 4 3-point shots and missed all of them this year. So my final thoughts, as I got to get going here, is this is a good get. I think long term, there's plenty of potential. He fits really nice into this roster. He'll be a nice piece for Fran McCaffrey and what Fran McCaffrey's trying to do. Next year, guys, Iowa is going to be loaded. If they are able to keep everybody that they're supposed to keep, they're going to be a really freaking talented team with a lot of pieces, a lot of athleticism. And that's another thing that Fran McCaffrey is trying to do, is add athleticism to his roster. It's not that Fran McCaffrey's teams are unathletic, because that's not the case, but they're not as athletic as some, and they do have weak spots on the roster. There's really nobody like moving forward that I say, oh wow, yeah, like a Jordan Bohannon or like a Adam Woodbury, where I'm like, oh, even for his position, he's fairly unathletic. I mean, all the guys move just fine, some more than others. Like if you look like a Chris Taggio versus a Cooper Koch, but by and large, they're athletic. They have quickness. They have explosiveness. And that is what he's looking to do. So this is a nice roster makeup, and I like how Fran McCaffrey is going about it. And being patient and methodical. So time will tell how this works out, guys. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. One final note, I just thought about it. This will definitely affect what Iowa does in the transfer portal at the end of this year, as this guy has taken up a roster spot. But again, there's a lot of moving pieces in the current college landscape, so you never know who will stay and who will go. Although, as things are looking right now, the key pieces and most of the reserve pieces, I would be surprised if they did decide to transfer. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.